Okay, Nordhold. So a few months ago, I got really into this game. It's a really great tower defense game. I put in, you can see there, like 30 hours in a very short amount of time, like a week and a half or so. So I wanted to do a little video, kind of just as a review slash guide to level 30. There's kind of a cutoff point at level 30 of waves. But really, let's start with, like, I mean, if you like tower defense games, this is a great, great game. This area that I'm looking at right here is kind of like the economy side, and then you'll see the battlefield side eventually, but it does a really fun job of teaching compound interest, as weird as that sounds. Like, the earlier you invest in certain things, the easier the game will be in terms of an economy standpoint. And there's just like a lot of different ways to play out every game. It's also the type of game that's, what do you call it? Like Hades, where it is, you make permanent progress every run, even if you die miserably, which you will a lot early on, just sort of learning the game. But here, this is one of the things that University, you can see my early build here. Once you get University unlocked, it's kind of like it unlocks a lot of really powerful upgrades on a per turn basis. So like I said, a lot of this compound interest stuff is like per turn. So the earlier I can get certain things running, the more they will pay off later. The University is one of those things. The Guild Hall is the other main thing of that. But here, I'll just kind of shut up and let you watch some of the economy side of the game for a bit. Okay, so this is another area where the game is super deep. You get to choose the priority of every tower that exists, and you can see you're gonna want to do that. Like the more you learn how to do this, the better your game will go over time. This little focus until death indicator. You can also copy and paste the settings, so you can see I'm on a runestone tower that ignored. I think it ignored barrier. Yeah, those ignore barrier. So I have that set to target the barrier carriers first.
Research completed.
Okay, so we're on wave 6 here. This is the perfect time for Guild Hall. And as you can see here, it starts with 20 gold, goes up over time. So every round it's going to go up by 10. So money on money. There's a couple of parts of the game like this one, the missions where you're sacrificing workers for quite a few waves, where it took me a while to find the balance of, like, is this worth it? And most of the time it is, to at least do even the lowest level one. Here you can see I'm already, like, getting rewards from University, so I would highly recommend, once you get this, build it, like, as early as possible. because the buffs that you get from it are the gold equivalent is very high, and then you don't have to spend the gold on it. You just have to survive turns to get the benefit. Okay, so we're on the first boss wave here. One thing I'm just going to talk about really quickly is like pausing. So you can pause the waves at any point, and you're definitely going to want to do that to use your spells, as you can see that I'm going to do with the hero. It's also really nice for... Oftentimes I'll start the wave with money left over, like money and resources banked, and just see if I can survive without building any towers. Because basically, again, like, the more money you're putting, you want to put as much money into economy as you can without dying every round in this game. So, yeah, it's definitely a balancing act, and you will definitely die learning it, but it's super fun. Okay, so early on, when I started playing this game, I got really invested in the gold per turn upgrades, but this economy budget from the main castle building is the best in terms of value, like per upgrade. Like that, it's gonna discount all of the other upgrades that you purchase, which is a lot. And yeah, economy budget, super good. Quick look at the guild hall. I have 125 gold banked, and next turn I'm getting 35 more. So that shows you, it's not normal. Like, once you realize how good that is compared to upgrading like the gold per wave from the workers, you start to realize like how much more you're getting from that. So I'll show you some of the other ones that are just sort of the better upgrades to level up first, and let you pick up the rest. Aiding Feast. I think this... Sorry, hard to read, but Aiding Feast. It's another one where you might not think it's worth it. On early playthroughs, it is always worth it. You might want to bank up your food. Don't, because the amount of bonus you get from Aiding Feast outweighs the worker bonus you would get otherwise. And here on the hero upgrades, same thing. I'm just doing... this build is very focused on runestone towers. And the ability that I have gains maximum spell power each time I use it. So I'm wanting to make sure I use that ability as often as I can. Okay, so level 18. Obviously at boss waves, you want to be preparing as much as you can, because oftentimes that was where you will die. So level 18, I'm cashing in the guild hall, and I'm going to get a lot of upgrades here. That's the gold per wave, rocks per wave, wood per wave, and wheat per wave. The bottom ones. So it's like 20, 40, 60 per wave instead of the per worker bonus. So, yeah, like your workers are going to be moving around, and some of them might go on the missions, so it's really always good to get those per wave, even though they're very expensive. Those bonuses are really good. Another thing I'll just say in general about towers is to upgrade. It's something I could talk about later in the game, but I might as well talk about it now, which is, in learning the game, what worked for me was, in terms of upgrades, there's so many upgrades per tower you can focus on, but range is okay to start. I would say, like, oftentimes I found myself doing a single range upgrade on towers and then maxing out armor penetration and it's like armor and block penetration, because each upgrade goes up 25%. So you only have to do those 4 each per tower, and then you're free to upgrade anything else. But here you can see me spending the rest of my money sort of getting ready for the boss wave. But yeah, we'll talk about upgrades more later. Okay. So yeah, one thing I just wanted to yap about was tower defense games in general, and like how I got started with them. So the original ones I was in StarCraft 2 custom games, and one of them was called Nexus Wars. So I loved Nexus Wars and played so much of it when I was younger. It was basically a 4v4 tower defense game where you'd have a top lane and a bot lane, and you'd have 4 players and kind of like a home area on either side. And then you would have you'd be a worker, like you would be a probe or a SCV or a drone, and you would just like poop out StarCraft-looking buildings, and then out of the buildings, certain units would run across the map and fight in the middle of the lanes. So it was super fun. It also had a really, you know, like any good tower defense game has a really well thought out economy aspect to your tower building and upgrading. And yeah, Nexus Wars, played a lot of Bloons Tower Defense 6 as well. I will say, like, I wish that Nordhold had multiplayer, because I would be playing a lot of it with friends. I think there's a lot of... it's got... Obviously, it's like a big thing to add, but it could benefit a lot from it. And multiplayer really adds replayability, especially to tower defense games. So this might be confusing if you don't know what you're looking at here, but there's a meta, there are like meta rewards for if I get two upgrades for 5 different types of tower, I get like a bigger reward. So I'm looking for any type of, tornado tower. So now I get this reward for finishing that condition. And there's a few different ones. Some of them are kind of lock you out of the other ones, which adds, you know, like a replayability factor. There's a lot of different ways you can tackle, a lot of different builds you can go for tower-wise. So I kind of like that about Nordhold. Alright, wave 24. So next wave is a boss wave. I'm claiming the Guildhall gold again. I'll kind of do this pretty much every time. Like, you don't want to don't underestimate the bosses. They will, yeah, I mean, they are very powerful. And often the way runs end. So it's not a bad time to just cash in. The more you play, you'll get a better idea for it, and obviously you'll see at the end of the video, but there are people who played and done way crazier runs and builds than I'm doing. This is sort of like my first time getting past wave 30, this run, so that's why I kind of chose to make it into a video. And here you're going to see some of my upgrading, I guess. So yeah, accuracy and penetration, they go up 25% per upgrade. So Yeah. Especially whichever one gets through block. I think it's accuracy. So block, it doesn't. You think it's like innocuous, but then you look into like you'll see it if you look at your damage as it's focusing a target that has block, and you just see the little shield symbol pop up, and that's your tower doing 0 damage every time you see that shield symbol. So, yeah, max out accuracy and penetration, and then focus on whatever else that tower needs. If it's range, if it's damage, if it's crit damage, kind of whatever your build is going for. Other thing I'm going to say about tower selection is whatever towers you have that ignore barrier, you must have them focus on the barrier carrier first, because the barriers are massive. They become so huge that if you don't have towers, and for this build, it's all based on the runestone towers, because the runestone towers ignore barrier. So I'm setting all my runestone towers to kill the barrier carriers first. And if I didn't have that selected and targeted, it's just, you die. You just die. You just don't do enough damage to break through all the barriers. Same with the Raven towers. Those ignore barrier. So oftentimes I'm telling the tower to focus barrier carrier. Yeah. Then if anything has like health regen, and then the boss, or the highest health target. Alright, so here you can see another fusion thing that I'm going for. This is something the game doesn't really show well, I feel like. I feel like it took me a long time before I noticed these and actually implemented them, but keep an eye out for it. You can get these fusion upgrades, or like I showed the other one, the meta upgrade. Here's my fusion upgrade choice. And later in the game, you're going to get so many that it's just sort of going to happen, but you need to, like, force it to happen sooner rather than later, is what I would suggest, because they're very powerful. Yeah, right. Okay. So, this was the goal, this wave 30 on this run. I had never beaten this boss before, so you are going to spend... I'll just show you a few minutes. I mean, I'm going to try going through it pretty quickly, but right before boss waves is where you're going to spend a lot of time preparing. Especially... Yeah, like I've said it a few times this run, but you will die on them. And it's nice to be as prepared as you possibly can, checking through everything. Alright, and here is my inevitable death several waves later. I got 8 more waves after the first time I ever hit level 30, so I was super happy. That would be good to cut up for a video. It took me a while to do this one, and I'm still learning resolves and voiceover and all that, so yeah, thanks for watching. Let me know if there are any other great tower defense games out there I should check out. Thanks.